From $100 million penthouses to billion-dollar estates, developers have built some of the most insane properties you'll ever see. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the audacity of The One. This is the story of the most expensive home ever listed in America. And spoiler alert, it's a wild ride from half-billion-dollar dreams to bankruptcy court drama. Our journey begins with developer Nile Niami, a guy who looked at the Los Angeles skyline and thought, "You know what this needs? A house so ridiculously expensive that it makes other billionaires feel poor." In 2012, Niami dropped $28 million on a prime piece of Bel Air real estate. Now, this land already had a 10,000 square foot home on it. Most people would call that a mansion. Niami called it an obstacle and demolished that thing faster than you can say excessive. His vision? Create a property so magnificent, so unprecedented in scale and luxury, that it would be worth $500 million. That's right, $500 million. To put that in perspective, that's more than most countries spend on their entire annual budget. But Niami wasn't just building a house. He was building a legacy, a statement, a middle finger to the concept of reasonable spending. To bring this fever dream to life, Niami enlisted Paul McLean, a South African-born architect who's basically the god of modern luxury homes in LA. If you've seen a sick contemporary mansion with floor-to-ceiling glass walls and infinity pools that look like they drop off into another dimension, there's a good chance McLean designed it. His modernist aesthetic, clean lines, massive open spaces, and that seamless indoor-outdoor vibe was perfect for a project that needed to justify its insane price tag. Working alongside interior designer Catherine Rotondi, they crafted something that would make other luxury homes look like dorm rooms. The result? Approximately 105,000 square feet of pure, unadulterated excess. That's the main residence plus 3 guest houses, because apparently, one massive house isn't enough. To give you some context, that's bigger than a Walmart supercenter. Yeah, you could fit an entire grocery store inside this place and still have room for a few food courts. Construction started around 2014, and immediately, things got insane. They had to move 49,000 cubic yards of earth. That's over 5,000 truckloads, just to shape the hillside. Alright, let's talk about what 105,000 square feet actually gets you. First up, 21 bedrooms and 42 bathrooms. At this point, you're not buying a home, you're buying a small hotel. But it gets better. The primary suite alone is 5,500 square feet. That's larger than most people's entire houses. This isn't a bedroom, it's a private sanctuary where you could literally get lost trying to find your bed. Floor-to-ceiling windows offer views from downtown LA all the way to the Pacific Ocean, so you can watch the peasants commute to work from your climate-controlled paradise. But the real flex? The 10,000 square foot sky deck on top. This outdoor space is so massive you could host a music festival up there, and still have room for a farmer's market. It offers 360-degree views of Los Angeles, making it the ultimate flex for hosting parties where you casually remind everyone that they're standing on top of a $250 million house. For the car enthusiasts, because of course this place caters to them, there's a 30-car garage, every rich person's fantasy. Now let's get to the fun stuff. The One doesn't just have amenities, it has entire worlds of entertainment. There's a 4-lane bowling alley, because why go to a bowling alley with the common folk when you can have your own? A state-of-the-art movie theater that would make AMC jealous. A fully equipped nightclub with professional sound and lighting, so you never have to deal with bouncers or cover charges ever again. Feeling lucky? Head to the Monaco-style casino for some high-stakes gambling in complete privacy. Want to relax? There's a full spa and salon that brings resort-level pampering into your daily routine. Need to stay fit? There's a gym and a 400-foot jogging track that loops around parts of the property, so you can pretend to care about cardio while enjoying views that cost more per square foot than most people's retirement savings. The One features 5 swimming pools scattered throughout the property, because one pool is for middle-class people. The most dramatic? A moat-like infinity pool with edges on 3 sides that make it look like the water just flows endlessly toward the city below. These aren't just pools, They're architectural statements that probably cost more to maintain annually than most people's mortgages. Now here's where things get real. Maintaining this absolute unit of a house requires an estimated 50 separate HVAC systems. Yeah, 50. And the summer electricity and cooling costs? About $50,000 per month. That's $600,000 a year just to keep the AC running. At that point, you're not paying utility bills, you're funding a small power plant. Construction was supposed to wrap up by the late 2010s. Spoiler, it didn't. Delays piled up like dirty dishes in a college apartment. Costs spiraled completely out of control. By 2021, the house was technically finished, but it didn't even have a certificate of occupancy. Translation: legally, nobody could actually live there. And to make matters worse, it needed an estimated $20 million more to meet building codes and complete everything that was promised. All those delays and skyrocketing costs led to one inevitable conclusion: debt. Mountains of it. The property went into bankruptcy and foreclosure, turning Niami's $500 million dream into a cautionary tale about overleveraging in real estate. In March 2022, The One went to auction, the ultimate L for a developer who wanted to sell it privately for 9 figures. The hammer dropped at $126 million, with auction commissions pushing the total to about $141 million. Now, that set a record for the highest real estate auction price in US history at the time, which sounds impressive until you remember the original asking price was $500 million. That's like trying to sell a used car for $50,000 and settling for $14,000. Rough. Enter Richard Sagian, CEO of Fashion Nova, the fast fashion empire that's revolutionized online retail by making everyone think they can dress like a Kardashian on a Target budget. Sagian saw what others saw as a money pit and thought, "Yeah, I can make this work." He swooped in, dropped $141 million, and became the unlikely hero of this story. Sagian's plan? Finish the construction, get that certificate of occupancy, and finally let The One reach its full potential. Because if there's one thing Fashion Nova knows, it's how to take something controversial and turn it into a cultural phenomenon. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because there's plenty more wild stories where this came from. Despite all the drama, The One has already secured its place in pop culture. In 2021, it served as a filming location for Apple TV+'s Loot, because nothing says authentic storytelling like filming in a house that costs more than a small nation's GDP. The property has been featured in countless real estate videos, magazines, and architectural think pieces, making it one of the most talked about homes in modern history. A monument to hubris. So what's the takeaway here? The One stands as both a triumph of architectural vision and a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition. It's simultaneously the most impressive and the most ridiculous residential property ever conceived in America. Niami pushed every boundary, challenged every convention, and created something truly unprecedented, then watched it slip through his fingers when reality caught up with fantasy. But here's the thing, whether you see it as a masterpiece or a monument to excess, The One has undeniably made its mark on history. It represents that uniquely American belief that if you dream big enough, spend enough money, and ignore enough warning signs, you can create something legendary. And you know what? Despite the bankruptcy, the auction, and the financial catastrophe, The One is legendary. This property forced us to reconsider what's possible in residential architecture. It showed us the absolute limits of luxury and excess. It proved that you can, in fact, have too much of a good thing, but that doesn't mean it's not spectacular to look at. The One isn't just a house, it's a statement, a spectacle, a reminder that sometimes the most remarkable stories come not from flawless victories but from the audacious attempts to reach beyond what seems possible. It's a floating palace not upon the seas but perched high above Los Angeles, forever gazing down at the city that both inspired and humbled it. This is The One, a home where dreams of grandeur met the harsh realities of mathematics, where architectural brilliance collided with financial disaster, and where one developer's vision of creating the ultimate luxury residence became a legendary tale of ambition, excess, and the thin line between genius and insanity.